Hello, this is Lauren Delsack speaking, and if you're new to my channel, I am a professional astrologer. And in this video, I'm going to be talking about Saturn turning retrograde on May 23rd. It will be retrograde in the sign of Aquarius until the middle of October, so we've got about 4.5 months here of making some, let's say, readjustments to our life, to a specific area of our life. Now, the planet Saturn is all about controls and building structure, as well as focusing on ambition. Obviously, we need a good structure in our life in order to build upon. And we need controls in our life as well. Just imagine a car without the brakes. So when Saturn is turning retrograde or in retrograde motion for these 4.5 months, Saturn's really asking us to question the structures in our life, question the controls, question our way of living. So we're sort of like testing things out, rethinking, reevaluating, making readjustments in our life. Also, you get the feeling here of going over a bit of already, what we've already done, kind of like been there, done that, because Saturn's all about learning life lessons. So you may feel and see that whatever was going on with you since the start of this year until May, it's kind of like Saturn in the next 4.5 months is going to be going over that same territory again. I always get the image with Saturn retrograde of a scientist in a laboratory. What's the scientist doing if he's working on a formula? He is trying this, trying that, testing different approaches. It's kind of like when Saturn's retrograde, the scientist, he's not ready yet to publish his theories. He's still in the laboratory, kind of fine-tuning, making adjustments, this kind of thing. Now, Saturn in the sign of Aquarius, where it is and has been since the end of 2020, and where it will be until the spring of 2023, it wants us, we could say, to be more socially significant. It wants us to be ambitious, sort of in a social or a humanitarian way. It also wants to be independent, free, innovative, forward-moving. Also intellectually stimulating. So you might want to think about, for example, over the next period between now and mid-October, as you make adjustments in your life, you might be thinking about, how can I be more socially significant to other people? How can I be more independent and free? How can I break away from controls and restrictions in my life? And how can I be more creative, more innovative, more forward-moving? How can I find things in my life that would be more, let's say, intellectually stimulating to me? So you might want to reflect on those questions in terms of readjusting and fine-tuning your life. Now, let's get into each of the signs where Saturn wants you to focus right now in your life. And I'll also be bringing in a bit of tarot to get maybe some insights that could be helpful to you. So, off we go. We start with Aries. Okay, Aries, Saturn is moving through the sector of your life that has to do with how you're being rewarded, recognized, and compensated through your profession, through what you do for a living. It also relates to your friendships, your group associations, the people that you associate with, also at work. Really about like-minded people. And I get the feeling here that with Saturn going through that area of your horoscope, you might be looking at, do the people I associate with, are they on the same page as me? Or are these relationships somewhat outdated? So you could be possibly looking for people that resonate more on your level. You might also be looking at, for example, considering asking for a raise if you feel you're not being compensated through your work. I would say, though, over the past 3 years, from about 2018 to 2020, whatever you established professionally for yourself, now you're sort of riding a wave of getting back that recognition for your hard work. The tarot is telling me, with the Chariot card here, is that you're quite victorious, I feel. You're determined, you have the courage to take action. You're going to feel kind of, I think, impatient during this Saturn retrograde period for 4 months, because you're kind of feeling like you want to move forward with things, which there's no reason why you can't move forward with things. You're looking for a new start, really, in your life, something that's a bit more adventurous for you. So if things have become sort of dull for you, I'm feeling that you're ready to jumpstart things here. So we get the feeling here of definitely moving forward, driving your life the way you want it to manifest. But I definitely feel be open to a new start, because there is some new start here. I guess the one piece of advice here with the Knight of Wands is be careful about taking impulsive action, you know. You don't want to move ahead too quickly. So, yeah, that would be the best piece of advice that I could give you there. But I feel like you're all guns blazing, ready for new adventure in your life, starting something new, so go for it there. Taurus, Saturn is moving through the area of your horoscope that has to do with your profession, your career, your standing in the world, your reputation, your legacy. And so what you might be reflecting on over these next 4.5 months has to do with, I think, whether you're being overworked. For example, if too many responsibilities have been put on you, I feel like you're going to evaluate that. For example, are you being compensated for all the work that you're taking on? It might be dropping the burdens and sort of having a higher vision of how you can express yourself through your profession, how you can find maybe more joy and happiness through your professional life. Also in collaboration with other people, working in a harmonious environment with people that you deal with. I feel like you know how to get the support from other people that you need. Highly intuitive here, and using your intuition, seeing things clearly for what they are. You might also be thinking about coming into more of a role of being a support for other people. The sense of generosity with others, this kind of thing. How you share your wisdom with others, being generous in that way. So take what resonates there. Overall here, I would say lightening your load in terms of your work, streamlining. Gemini, you've got Saturn moving through the area of your life that has to do with higher-minded thinking and studies and learning and teaching what you know. This can also come through writing, publishing, interest in subjects such as how other people think. So this can include politics, philosophy, law, religion, spiritual matters, metaphysics, internationalism, foreign travel, expanding perhaps what you do through the internet, or even considering travel abroad. These, I think, are some of the considerations you're going to be making, because we've got the Fool card out here, and that tells me that you're ready for a new adventure. You're ready to start something new, and the universe is bringing you the opportunity for it. You're being given an opportunity to start something out that could even better your financial situation. So, for example, if you're thinking of studying, it's going to enhance you down the road professionally. Also, I would say if you're thinking about studying something or getting into some formalized study or teaching, you're going to be compensated for it. I feel like you're possibly either have some relationship considerations going on also in your life. Maybe, hypothetically, for someone out there, you're dealing with a foreigner, or you're just, I kind of feel like you're ready for new new ways of going about things, both in a personal relationship and really anything that's going to expand your horizons, that's going to broaden, it's going to open up the world to you more. What can you do? That's what you should be maybe thinking about. What can you do to expand your horizons here? Because you got it all going on. It might also be that somebody's coming into your life or has come into your life to assist you with that, or to give you the seeds or the jump start that you need to get this off the ground. Hope that makes sense to you. Definitely considering some new beginnings in your life here, Gemini. Also feel like you might be considering a geographic relocation, some of you. Okay? On to Cancer. Cancer, you've got Saturn moving through an area of your life that can be quite secretive and mysterious in many ways. This area of life can deal with occult, hidden subjects, also with psychology and alternative healing therapies and approaches as one area. It also deals with the resources that you have in your commitments one-on-one to other people, or resources that you have through other institutions. Sometimes it can be like inheritance, royalties, investments, loans, this kind of thing. So I kind of get the feeling during this Saturn retrograde period, between May and October, that you might be delving deep into, let's say, subjects where you can uncover truth. For example, you might have beliefs that are outdated, and you're finding new information, and you're tapping into your intuition to discover the truth about things, or some secret information that you didn't know about before. Also bringing this out here because the Devil card is on the table, and it can have to do with our addictions and our obsessions, and the 8th house also has to do with the significance and value that we give to sex, or our sex life. So you may be, for some of you, confronting those kinds of issues. It's not an easy area of life when Saturn moves through the 8th house, okay? So sometimes we can feel a bit alone or a bit down. But what I would say here with the 9 of Wands on the table is that you've whatever battles you've fought, for example, 2018 through the end of 2020, it was in the area of life that had to do with your commitments, the traditional marriage house. Maybe some of you have, let's say, here's the thing about that time period is that you were looking at who is worthy of your time and who is no longer worthy of your time. So if you're coming out of the end of a relationship, for example, or a commitment to another person, I feel like whatever hurt and pain you had to go through, fine, you're still standing and you're moving forward with courage here. You're not giving up on anything, but I do feel like this could be a bit of a downtime for you, which would be a good thing because, you know, when we're alone with ourselves and quiet, this is when like so much information can come to us. So I'm kind of feeling like that's what it's about, tapping into some deeper knowledge that you are starting to uncover or learn about. There could also be some secrets that you're sort of discovering. So this could be a period here of you questioning some deep things about yourself and readjusting your way of thinking, okay? And also, anything that you've been through already, you don't want to repeat again. Kind of like been there, done that, next. Learned what I had to learn through that, okay? Hope that's helpful to you. Okay, Leo. This year, in 2021, or since the end of last year, you've kind of made your debut into the outer world, and now you're taking on responsibilities one-on-one with other people. That can be through a committed relationship, a business partnership, dealing with the public, customers, clients, this kind of thing. So Saturn's asking you to take on responsibilities and to really focus on what your commitments are to other people and rethinking those commitments. Okay, again, who's worthy of my time, who's not worthy of my time, that kind of thing. I'm feeling here through the tarot that you've got maybe some old beliefs that are sort of keeping you tied up in your own world. It's like self-imposed beliefs that you have that are possibly holding you back. So between the Devil card and the Eight of Swords, I think you've got to question or look at what beliefs you're carrying around with you, what self-imposed beliefs you've put on yourself, and how you can gain sort of a fresh perspective and break out of old patterns of thinking, particularly possibly here in relationships with other people. I mean, that's where the focus is. With the Eight of Wands here, I'm kind of feeling like you're being asked to move forward, take action, information coming to you quickly. Could be very positive news of something coming in for you right around maybe this retrograde period here. To move forward with things. I kind of feel like also maybe you're dealing in your relationships one-on-one, your commitments one-on-one. Maybe you're dealing with somebody who sort of is kind of a devilish type of person. Maybe you need to look at who you're dealing with and whether that person is really worthy of your efforts here. Could be somebody trying to perhaps manipulate you or keep you tied up, bound up. You know, this is all about you breaking controls, needing to be independent, needing to be free. So you might want to consider or think about who or what is binding you, okay? And needing to see things from a new, fresh perspective. That's my feeling I'm getting for Leo here. This might be specific to one person, but if you're dealing with somebody or yourself that has addictions, whether that be alcohol, drugs, sex, anything like that, I kind of feel like you need to take the blinders off and see the reality of that situation, and I feel like you're going to, okay? Put your energy into people that are deserving of you and your time. Virgo, Saturn is moving through the area of your life that has to do with sort of fine-tuning yourself. It's kind of, I always get the image of like an actor or an actress before they go on stage. They're in that room putting on their costume, fine-tuning, putting on their makeup, having their hair done, all that kind of stuff. So this is about, for example, fine-tuning your diet, your fitness, your practices on a day-to-day level that enhance your well-being. Also, what you do daily and your day-to-day work environment and the people that you work with or work for. So during Mercury retrograde, you could be restructuring or rethinking these ways that you live your life on a day-to-day basis. I kind of feel here with the Knight of Swords crowning the cards here that, boy, you're ready to go. You know what you want. You're on a mission. The thing is here is there can be a lack of planning. So I think that during Mercury retrograde, you need to make sure that you have a solid plan before you fly out the gate. I also feel like you're going to get to the bottom of anything here. Now, I feel also with the Four of Wands here is it's telling me that you've got a good structure in your life. I would think that your home life, everything is sort of in order, and I might be speaking to a specific person out there, you might be thinking about wanting a deeper commitment in your relationship, taking your relationship on to a deeper commitment if you're in a relationship, and you're going to speak your truth about that with the Knight of Swords. If you're in any kind of situation that has to do with legalities, having the Justice card here would tell me that things are going to work out in a fair way, meaning that you'll get exactly what you deserve. And I would say that would be also pertaining to your work environment, for example. If you're looking to restructure how you work day to day, where your office environment is, these kinds of things, I feel like everything's going to work out in a fair way, but you're going to speak your mind about it, you know. You're going to have to speak your truth about it. You're going to have to maybe even research and get information about, this subject or this area of your life. I just feel like all over, you've got the vision and you know exactly where you're headed here, okay? You'll get what you deserve, okay? Libra, you've got Saturn moving through the area of your life that has to do with how you express yourself creatively, possibly taking a hobby and turning it into some kind of a professional beginning for you, where you could sort of make money from a hobby, as one example. The other area of life this has to deal with is love and romance. So Saturn often brings up our fears or our anxieties about giving love in a romantic situation or in dating. And also it does have to do with the area of the horoscope that involves children. So if you have children, it could be asking you to look at your responsibilities to your children. Sometimes when Saturn's moving through this area of the horoscope, for people who have children, their children can become sort of a bigger responsibility, or they're being demanded to give more attention to their children. So my feeling here with the tarot on the table, well, a couple things here. Number one, I feel like, listen, Libra, you're highly creative and artistic, and I feel like this is a time for you to tap into your creative expression, creative talents and potentials. You really could be being more serious about that, is what I want to say. But coming in here is the Knight of Cups, so I feel like your mind is on romance. Not a big surprise for Libra. it is the sign of we and what we're going to do together. So I feel like you could be, you could be contemplating someone that's making you an offer of love or is pursuing you romantically. You could be rethinking that. I also feel with taking something on a more serious level creatively. You've got the Page of Pentacles here, so that tells me that opportunities, messages are coming to you about how you could make an income from the creative side of your life, as an example. And I feel like you're going to definitely be successful with all of it with the Six of Wands here. So kind of like, I think you're going to be rethinking about romance and about starting out on something new. Could involve learning, but also this area of the horoscope has to do with teaching. So maybe you're considering teaching, coaching, even children, or teaching what you know with other people, and starting out on some kind of a financial plan for that, something that can bring you earnings, okay, if you were to teach or coach. Hope that's helpful to you. I feel you're going to be motivated and inspired this period between March and October. And whatever you're doing, it's going to help you to develop your skills, okay? So, yeah, you're going to manifest some opportunities, I feel, that are going to broaden your perspective here. Okay, moving on to Scorpio. Scorpio, Saturn wants you to focus on where you put down roots, needing to anchor yourself, structure yourself, pertaining to your home, your house, where you're living, your family, your personal life, this type of thing. You might be, for example, during this Saturn retrograde period between May and October, you could be, for example, thinking about creative ways of reforming or redecorating your home life environment. I say that because we have the Page of Cups here on the table, and the Page of Cups is bringing in some kind of intuitive ideas on a creative level. So on a creative artistic level as one possibility here. I feel also like you're a straight shooter with that Queen of Swords. You know, this is about maybe with your family or whoever you live with or that type of environment. This is about speaking your truth. You've got the wisdom. You've got the eagle-eye view sort of on the situation. The Nine of Wands tells me that you've fought your battles, but you're still standing, and you definitely are moving forward. I don't think anything's really going to stop you here. Another possibility here is that you might be making some decisions or rethinking about moving in together. If you're in a relationship and you're not living together, that might be a consideration for some of you. The other message I'm getting here is don't try to fix other people. Don't try to fix other people. Deal with yourself. Because really, here's the thing, is if you don't have a firm structure where you're putting down your roots, where you're anchoring yourself, that's what you need to be rethinking about. Are you living with people? Maybe you then need to go your own independent way, as another example. Certainly speaking your truth about the matter with family and or those that you live with. Okay, so I hope that that's helpful to you. Sagittarius. Saturn moving through the area of your life that has to do with how you communicate, what your outlook is, your mental outlook is, your perspective on the world. This also can have to do with furthering your studies. For example, I always get the image when Saturn's transiting through that third house. It's kind of like over the past, let's say 5 or 6 years, you've been, this is an example here, like a medical student in medical school, learning a lot of things, and then you get to that third house, and this is when the student, the medical student, does his residency. He takes everything that he knows, and now it's hands-on experience, hands-on practice. So you should feel, for example, that even though Saturn's going retrograde and sort of slowing down and rethinking, you should still feel that the speed of life is picking up for you. Now it's time to use your skills hands-on, okay? Through the tarot, part of me feels that you're ending some cycle in your life. You're sort of, anything that's caused you mental anguish is sort of behind you now, or you're putting it behind you now. If you're in a mental loop, you know, of going round and round about how hurt you were, or how things didn't work out as you wanted, you need to sort of get out of that mental way of thinking. It's done and dusted. With the Four of Pentacles here, it's telling me that you're sort of holding on to what you have, not willing to let go of the security that you have right now, which is okay. This can tell us that you're being conservative with finances, this kind of thing, not willing to let go of what you have. It might also be suggesting here that are you giving too much value to your material way of life? I feel also with the High Priestess on the bottom of the deck that you need to be honest with yourself. You need to listen to your intuition and your intuitive hunches. And she could also be saying that you don't have all the information right now that you need. There are things that maybe are secrets that need to be right now. It's kind of like the High Priestess. She always tells you what you need to know when you need to know it, okay? Also, I could look at the Four of Pentacles with the High Priestess and also ask you, what are you putting more value on? Your material way of living versus a more spiritual, higher way of living. So you could be dealing with that type of conundrum between the material and the spiritual and choosing which path is best for you. Okay? Capricorn. We've got Saturn here moving retrograde through the area of life that has to do with your finances, what you have, what you own, what you value, what your values are, how you value yourself, your sense of self-worth and value. So Saturn is asking us, when it's moving through this area of our life, to re-examine our spending, for example. Are we living within our means, or are we living above our means? So we have to make adjustments there. We have to live within our means. And so that can mean looking at your spending, looking at your cost of living. Where can you cut back, for example? Where can you be responsible with your finances? I'm feeling here through the tarot that you've got the Knight of Wands on the table, so, you know, you want to maybe you have impulsive spending. Take this for whoever this message is for. Maybe you're impulsive, impatient, and when it comes to your finances, it's like what you've got in your pocket is what you blow, you know? So, it's asking you with the Queen of Swords here to be truthful with yourself, to see it clearly for what it is, not to delude yourself in any way when it comes to your value and when it comes to your, what you have monetarily. The Hermit card is saying you need to, I feel like the King of the Queen of Swords and the Hermit are speaking together, because this is definitely about a higher wisdom. This is definitely about pulling back, retreating, tapping into a higher knowledge. It definitely could lead you or have you continue on a spiritual path. It's not always about being out in the world, let's say, having fun, adventurous experiences. Sometimes we need to pull the reins of the horse back, restrain ourselves. I feel like it would do you good during this Saturn retrograde period between May and October to find out some truth within yourself and take more of a solitary approach, perhaps. It's asking you to use your wisdom and being guided by that higher power within you. Yeah. When it comes to material assets, the Hermit doesn't need much. He's got his lamp illuminating his path and the staff of wisdom in his left hand. And the Queen of Swords, she's got the sword of truth in her right hand. So that might resonate with some of you there. Aquarius, since the end of last year, and this year in 2021, at least the first 5 months, you're coming into a whole new cycle in your life. And this is all about the self, making major self-realizations about what's important to you in your personal life and in your professional life and in your dealings with other people. Now, the thing about Saturn, when it moves into our first house, is it's kind of like, I get the image of we're looking at in the mirror every day and we're liking what we see and what we don't like about ourselves, and making some, let's say, adjustments on that level. But it's really about starting out also with a whole new sense of ambition. And with the Eight of Pentacles on the table, I'm feeling here that you're contemplating what you would like to do through your, ambition-wise in your life. This is about developing your skills now in a new way, taking what you know, but starting out almost on a new path of study. This is the Apprentice card. So it's asking you to really contemplate during Saturn retrograde what would be most fulfilling to you now in your life, ambition-wise, and what do you want to learn about. The Page of Swords, it also is opportunities and messages and learning and researching and getting information. And I feel like that's how you could be using these months ahead, these 4.5 months ahead, to research and think about where you want to put your energy in terms of learning something new. With the Six of Wands, I feel like it's saying that, look, now you're moving to calmer waters. You're moving away from any kind of upsets that you've had. It's sort of, again, it's to me kind of like talking about finishing a cycle, and now you're ready for something new. You're ready to take yourself to new waters, to a new land. Just speaking from experience, as an Aquarian, 30 years ago when Saturn was conjunct my ascendant, that's when I set out on studying and learning astrology professionally. So, it is about a whole new sense of ambition, Aquarius. Okay? So rethink major realizations about what you want now in your life. Pisces. Saturn moving through the 12th house. And this pertains to wrapping up and finishing up with responsibilities to the outer world. You might be sort of like concluding projects right now, or rethinking about how you can finalize what you've been doing. It's sort of like probably no longer is starting to turn you on. Oftentimes I use the image when Saturn's moving through the 12th house, sort of like Dorothy on the yellow brick road. She doesn't know where the road is leading her, but she knows it's eventually going to get to her destination. I also use the other image of sort of being in a boat out at sea. Not that you're drifting, you haven't yet come to land, but you're in that time period where you sort of like don't know where the land is yet that you're going to land on, but it's you have the confidence and faith that it's going to get you there. So my feeling is that during this Saturn retrograde period, I think you're going to be more like taking a sabbatical. I also feel it's kind of like a sabbatical to go within. You're contemplating perhaps many different options. You know, you might be doubting yourself with the Seven of Cups here, or you might be looking at a lot of different options. And my advice would be you need to look at which options are practical for you right now and which options are more sort of idealized pie in the sky. Don't be a fool with the Fool card. So be very careful about what ideas you're moving forward with. I think they need to be rethought. On the other hand, the Fool card is telling us that you're ready for a new adventure. You're ready to do something new. Again, I would tell you, if you can, depending on your situation, this is the perfect time to step back, even maybe see, because this really is a spiritual house as well, and I feel like you could be possibly considering traveling, going on some kind of a pilgrimage, this kind of thing, something that would enhance you more spiritually. I feel like don't look at what you've lost or what your regrets are about the past with the Five of Cups. Don't focus on that. Focus on what you still have and where that can lead you. Sometimes with Saturn moving through this area of our life, we need to sort of be patient and go within. That's my feeling here is you need some retreat and downtime for the self. So yeah, even though you could be on a new adventure, you could be starting out on something new, make it something that is for you. Put yourself first here. What do you need? What does your soul, or what is your soul calling you to do right now? This is a time of deep contemplation. This is not necessarily a time of starting something new. You're really wrapping things up in your life, okay? Hope that's helpful to you. So that's what I've got in terms of Saturn retrograde for the next 4.5 months, and I hope that you'll be readjusting your life in a positive way. So thanks for listening, and all the best to you. Bye-bye now.